Welcome to this episode of Estate Agency EAX. Today we're focusing specifically on a new 12-month accelerator program that we've been working on for quite a period of time. We'll explain what the point of it is, what you're likely to get out of it, and let you know where you can find out more information. Hope you enjoy.
Back for another episode. And this one we're going to talk about Estate Agency EAX.
We don't know what we're going to talk about.
Accelerator program, is it now? Is that what we agreed?
Yeah. Estate Agency EAX Accelerator Programme, yeah. 12-month Accelerator Programme.
So, let's get into this one. We discussed this quite a while ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
And why we wanted to get into offering this out under Estate Agency EAX. So, from your perspective, like the last few years, what's come to make you realise that something like this should exist?
When I started this version of Iceberg, there's been two versions of Iceberg really. Like way back in 2009, we started a company that used to produce digital magazines for estate agents. And I kind of see that as a different business. 2015, 16, we pivoted over into something different. And that was because of a journey that I'd been on myself of discovery and discovering how business actually works. I'd been lucky enough to fall into this group of entrepreneurs that had all built very, very successful £100 million businesses, and they all spoke about business in a very structured way, like you do these things and then you sell the company for 100 million quid, or don't sell it and just be very successful. And it sort of made me question what I'd been doing for the last 15 years. But more importantly than that, it made me look across at this industry that I had spent my whole life in as an agent and as a supplier, and think, well, this industry's fucked, because they're all in the boat that I was in before I had access to that knowledge. The majority of them are, because, you know, we went to school, messed it up, fell into a estate agency, made a living for ourselves, but, you know, never had the opportunity to learn some of this information from these kinds of people. And I restructured the way that I ran businesses, and since then, you know, I've built 7-figure businesses, 8-figure businesses now. I've, you know, done some great things that I never would have thought possible at the time. Written a couple of best-selling books and all of that sort of stuff. But always, since then, since, you know, around 2015, I've been thinking, I need to somehow get this information into a estate agency, or it's not going to exist because some company or someone is going to come along with this information and work this way, and that's going to be the end of a estate agency as we know it, certainly of the small independent. And so we've done little conferences before where we've brought in some of the people that we've managed to get there through our own connections, that are probably, you know, not the usual kind of people that you would see at an estate agency conference, because usually it's like, this is how you do a estate agency, you all do it the same, so I'm going to give you one bit of advice, all do that and you'll all be successful, which obviously is bullshit. The type of people I'm talking about will just tell you the principles of successful business work, and then you can adapt that around your own model, whatever that decides to be. Obviously it's a estate agency, but it might be high end, it might be low end, it might be families, it might be first time buyers, whatever. So when we looked at that as a company after Iceberg version 2, the vision for us was always to create this resource for change, because the things that were needed just weren't there. They weren't available to agents. There isn't access to incredible mentors that have done amazing things in business. You know, there are courses in a estate agency, but there aren't that. There wasn't access to the latest technology to be able to do some of the things that estate agents have never heard of, you know, to be able to track who to call and when to call them and who's on your website and automate nurturing. None of that was available. There wasn't the ability to even build towards artificial intelligence. I know artificial intelligence is a big thing now, but, you know, we was talking about it in 2015 that it's going to have to work a certain way for when this technology arrives. There wasn't the right kind of websites. There wasn't, all of this stuff wasn't in existence. So when we first sat down and looked at what we would build with Iceberg back then, we knew that we were going to have to create those things, or in truth, in a way, we kind of hoped that when we got to the time, maybe those things would exist already. As it turns out, they don't. And so we continue to create those products ourselves as our resources and cash flow allow for that. So we've got the software system that sits at the heart of an estate agency business if they're looking for transformation. We know, and you know better than anybody, that like that requires a complete openness to changing what they think is normal. And so we have the coaching side of things with yourself and elite performance coaching for people not to learn how to use the system, but to consider that something else might be possible and for them to turn that into their own idea. And that's been very successful. We've started a website company recently to be able to help agents with the B2C side of things and turning web browsers into committed clients, and how you do that, how you actually do that if you've got the whole ecosystem. And so now you and I have spoken for quite a long time, and it seems like the right time for us to be able to have enough focus to put together what we consider to be a real 12-month accelerator program that someone could join, and not, oh, we could get a bit of money out of this. Someone could come along and you know, we could talk for an hour about, like, I don't know, something. No, these are going to be world-class people, experts, that at the end of it, you will have a different business if you follow this program. Like the same process that I went through. You're going to figure out exactly why you exist, and it's not going to be someone saying, "Tell me why you exist." And there's going to be a process.
What's your mission?
Yeah, there's going to be a process that you go through with somebody who knows how to do this and has done it on a scale beyond what you would be able to afford to get them in, and I'll just get that person in then. Like, no, that wouldn't be possible. So you will figure out why you exist. You will figure out how the company works. You will figure out your systems and your processes. You will figure out how to have the business that you wanted when you wanted a business for freedom, and instead ended up with one whereby, you know, you're a slave to clients and money and staff and time, and going to figure out how to do it now. And so that answers your question, I guess, in terms of like why is now the right time. We've got the resources and the time to be able to give it the attention it needs to create the program that we think estate agents need. I guess from your perspective, like, you coach clients, but that can only go so far, right? In the product that we've got at the moment, because ultimately they've joined to use Lifecycle, and there's one of you, so we're going to give them a little bit of help in them batting some ideas at you, and you batting them back and making them maybe think about things a little bit differently. So there must come a point, I guess, for you maybe whereby you also see, like, okay, these people they're looking for something more now. They're going out there trying to find courses, doing their best, but we can help them.
Well, I've looked at it from the perspective of being a former agent, then being mentored by you when I was a former agent, to then working side by side with you, to then understanding and seeing how Iceberg works, to how you then mentor other people, for me to be qualified as a coach, to then coach other businesses, to then impart that. So I've seen this full length of a journey, and how I look is different to how I think was different to when I first started. So as I've developed coaching with clients, like you said, like, you know, we coach people how to think differently, especially when they apply to the software like Lifecycle, because you need to evolve and change with that evolution of implementing technology into your business, because it is a new way of working, a new way of thinking. So if you've got blockers up and you don't want to think differently or move differently, then you're going to have that resistance. But what I found is when people open up that next level and they step over it and they go through that transition of change in the early stages of us, even in the first year, what then it does is, what I found is that they then open up their eyes to going out to explore your
more self-development.
Yeah, your more self-development, your workshops, your boot camps, and all sorts of stuff like that. And a lot of clients that I've worked with, they have kept asking for something like this. Do you guys do this, or is there time that we could do some mentoring or coaching on a one-to-one basis or stuff like that? Because what they found is, as they've gone out They've either got a repetition of the same thing being done over and over again, which is more traditionally estate agency based. So they find that they go to it and it's like, I haven't learned much more from that. Or they go to a program where they get some parts of it and then they struggle to actually implement it because they've got no coach involved within that process. Or what I'm finding more and more is that they've realised that they're fed up with all the bullshit sometimes you find in the estate agency and that part, and they've stepped out and gone out into the wider world. But the problem you have with that is you go into a more global scale of people trying to take that element to it, and then
be translated.
And it's like, how do I pull that back into estate agency? So that's where, when we started to have those conversations from a coaching perspective of our clients, I looked at them and thought, we can pull the worldwide knowledge, translate it into estate agency, but a new way of how to work in estate agency, and then it has to be in that 12-month program, because in our experiences, you can't just go to one boot camp weekender and feel that you're going to transform.
No, I mean, obviously, like, you know, you'll get something from going to a course, and you know, I've been to one-off courses before that have been great. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me personally, you know, all of these things link together.
Yeah.
So after you've let's say, for instance, after you have actually sat down with an expert and been able to truly figure out why you exist, what your vision, mission and core values are, and how you maintain it, and how you have quarterly meetings around it, and how all of that works, once someone actually an expert truly explains that to you and you get it, and your second in command gets it, and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing, there's something that comes next. And you can either then have to go away and try and figure it out, or someone can just go, we're going to cover this next. And when you do that, we're going to cover how your brand actually works next, right? Well, based on the fact of what you've just figured out. Oh, and this guy's going to come in, and this guy has done all of these things before, and he's going to show you how that, oh, that's amazing. And guess what comes after that? The processes now that you now need to know, because you figured out this and this and this, you know. So it is a program, and after that, there's probably still a thirst for more knowledge, but I can guarantee you'll have a completely different business to before you started that process. One important thing on that is you're in a room of people that are in your sector, so they get it, but they're as mad as you are. They're trying to go through transformation too. And that makes such a massive difference, because if you weren't, people would just tell you you're a bit mad, or you're a bit too, your goals are too big, or these people are going to allow you to actually achieve it. And what you're doing is normal. Some of them will be further down the road than you, some of them will be behind, but the ones that are behind, you'll be like, no, don't worry, this is all good, this is how it works. The ones that are ahead of you will be saying that to you. So I don't think you can underestimate the fact that if you go to a business development course, you've got random businesses there, it's hard to relate with everybody. You go to an estate agency course, they're all mostly probably doing it the traditional way. So if you are the type of person that's looking for something different, transformation of a estate agency, then this is the room that you're going to want to be in.
One of our clients, this is go back to what you said about the values, the mission, stuff like that. One of our clients got involved with us, and they've got their values and stuff, and then they come and spoke to us and spent some time with us, and they were like, how the fuck do you do your values across
10 branches?
Yeah, three continents, and all remote working, and how do you have the guys who are like at the heart of what you do? And that is the difference of the knowledge and the implementation on that. Like you can go to a course and have I come away with the values because that's the workshop element to it. But then I feel like the people that we're going to be bringing in are the same people that evolved how you think and how you work in the mindset, where actually it's not just we put it on a sheet, it's actually like, no, we're going to take you to a deeper level to really understand that.
Yeah, no, that's right. The type of companies that make this stuff work, they didn't just put it on a sheet. You know, there's more to it. There's a reason you do this. And what is that reason? Like, you know, when I was introduced to a lot of this stuff, if I'm perfectly honest, I just thought, it's a bit over the top. Like, you know, there's like 6 of us in an office at the time, and feels a bit American. No, when someone actually shows you, like, I know, because this is how it works, and you relate it with the problems that you actually have in that 6-person company, you're like, ah, shit, that is going to solve all of my problems, isn't it? Yes. Now can you see why you do it? Yeah. Now are they different? Yeah. Ah. And then it all starts clicking into place. And that's what you get when you have somebody that you've got full faith in, that they're a world expert in this. Like, this isn't going to be like, well, tell me why you exist, great, and then write down this, and good luck, well done. The other thing is, like, in between those sessions, so we're hoping to do those sessions roughly every other month. We're trying to avoid the school holidays, so, you know, probably nothing in July and August, but roughly every other month. In between those sessions, one of the key things as well is that we will have refocus sessions online, because quite often when you're working with people, I guess you might find that they have all the best intentions. They really want to do it, but until they see you again, you know, they might need a little.
Yeah, no, they don't even need the pot. Like, literally, I guarantee, and a lot of clients listening to this will be laughing because you know who you are. The sessions, they say the fundamental reasons why we commit to those sessions and we book them in, and why you make sure you book those in, is because what happened about a week up to the session, and the guys who are listening, usually the day before, I get all the stuff we talked about getting through, and they thought, oh, I knew, like, it came up the reminder that we're going to meet you, and I didn't want to turn up disappointed, so I got the shit done.
Exactly, and this is a grand scheme of that, right? There's, like, you know, 24 of these companies in the room. There's, like, you don't want to be, you know, you're all in this together. Why bother coming on the course and not doing it? Now, of course, because you get busy. No one goes, oh, I just can't be bothered. I just got busy. But then there's that refocus session. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's fine, you've done nothing. But, you know, we're going to be starting to cover something else in 4 weeks' time. So come on. We're first thing we're going to ask in the next session is, can anyone give us some of the wins from the stuff that they've done before? And don't just let it all pass by. And that, I think, is quite fundamental. You're in a room of the right people. You're on a journey. You're going to meet some amazing people on that journey, because it's going to be over a period of 12 months. Aside from the world-class, you know, coaches, you're just going to meet some amazing people on that journey and create almost an accountability group for yourselves.
Well, one of the other fundamentals of what we've done last year, but since we've been recording this podcast, you know, we've got our guests in and we have them in an outside space where they tend to sit there. I don't remember at any point we've not had any guests sat there talking about the collaboration amongst the community members, just from our life cycle community of, you know, even today, one was, I think I spoke to you like 2 months ago and you helped me with this, and
yeah, they're always really helping each other, yeah.
And if you put that into a focused room,
yeah, like,
it just puts everything on turbo version.
Explosive. It's explosive to get to the end and speak to those companies, and for so many of them to have experienced. If they get to experience what I got to experience, it will be such a fundamental shift for them. Yeah. That it'll be phenomenal to see and to talk to people at the end of it. So I've got no doubt it goes that way. I've been through it myself. You know, it's not like let's just invent it. I know the things that had to change in my company, and I regularly talk to other companies, not just in a state agency, but businesses all over the place, that all need the same things. The answers all sit in the same things, even though you don't know they exist. Once upon a time, you didn't know what you know today, and this will take you to a place where, you know, your new future, your new level of business. So I think it's going to be an amazing, an amazing 12 months with those agents, and I wish we could get more, but, you know, we'll do another one afterwards, and obviously, you know, continue from there if people want it.
Anything else to add on that?
I don't think so. I mean, like, you know, if people are thinking like, okay, that sounds good, like, but how do I do it? Where do I go? How do I do it? I think we feel pretty confident that the first 12 months is going to fill up pretty quick, and that there will be some people that unfortunately won't be able to get in because, you know, just is the way it is. We want 2 people to come from every company, at least 2 people. Like the slots, if you like, the tickets will be sold as a 2 people thing. So maybe a company will go, well, I want 4 people, so they'll get 2, but there'll be at least 2 people, because for this to work, my own personal experience says there needs to be a visionary from the company, somebody that can see 3 moves ahead, that looks at what the company might be like in 3 years. And another person whereby, the type of person whereby if you gave them some work to do, you wouldn't need to check it got done. Right? There's no possibility this isn't getting done. They might not be a visionary, but that combination, the visionary to listen to the things that are being said and to maybe answer some of those questions like why this, why that, what do we think about this, why do we do these things? And then from the end of the course, right, these won't be courses whereby it's all dreamy. At the end of it, it will be like, here's your homework. This is the shit you're supposed to be doing. That's where you need that other type of person there. So because it will sell out quite quickly because of that, the space, we'll create a wait list that people can go on to make it fair, even our own clients. And then we'll let everybody know when we're going to release it so that everybody's got a fair shot. And we'll go, this is the date and the time that we're going to make it available. And then we'll make it available, and it'll have to be on a first come, first served basis. Where do you learn more about it? Just go to the Iceberg digital website, iceberg-digital.co.uk. There's an estate agency EAX section, and you'll find your way to it from there. Hope to see you on the course.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to this Estate Agency EAX podcast. Can you make sure that you're actually subscribed to this podcast channel if you liked the content? It helps us massively to get better guests, and it just helps us generally. So you might think you're subscribed, but just have a double check, whatever your podcast platform of preference is, that you're actually subscribed. And then that way we can continue to grow the channel and get better and better guests for you.